Hello gamers, it is I, Steel, or Josh from America. How's it going? Also Dire's mod. You may be wondering, what Dire? Where? Question mark? Dire's gone. She actually isn't, but she's still, she's still posting videos every now and then, I guess. I'm here because I won a Master Duel Distant Coder tournament. I went 6-0. So you may be wondering, but why does that matter? It really doesn't. The deck I played is Sky Striker, my favorite deck of all time. Why is it a Dueling Board profile? It's because my computer is weak as hell and it can't handle Master Duel while running OBS at the same time, so that's why I'm here. Anyways, first up we have Raye. This card is the life and soul of this deck. It's really good, to put it simply. So Raye, the first effect's good, but we're gonna talk about the second effect first because that's the more important one. Basically, whenever Sky Striker Ace monster just leaves the field by her opponent's card, be it by battle, balance, banish, whatever, Raye can summon herself back. So she's a really good recursive engine that you can basically infinitely loop. She's one of the best floaters in the game, essentially. Yeah, Raye's pretty absurd. Her first effect's also pretty good. This basically makes her immune to spot removal. So usually, normal summon, like very normal summon reliant decks, like Sky Striker, for example. The point is, like, let's say there's a monster, you have to normal summon to link off, or you have to use an addiction effect. Those monsters are really prone to like removal, like Dogmatic Punishment, Paleozoic Down Emissions, stuff like that. Raye doesn't care about that because she has a quick effect to tag out, so essentially she can just say, haha, screw you, and turn into a Striker Link anyways, which pretty much bypasses that. So having spot removal on this card is basically useless. Second thing is that this card, that second effect, the first effect can also be used during your opponent's turn, seeing how it's a quick effect. So you can actually, if you're able to bring Raye back during their turn, it can quick tag into Kaina, preventing your opponent from killing you in OTK, or if your Raye survives that long, somehow you can just go into choosing between the end phase and getting a search, which gives you like which gives you two searches. You have ones in your end phase and ones in their end phase, so puts you a lot ahead in tempo. This card is also like an extra 1500 damage if your opponent's empty board. You can just go Raye, attack directly, chain Raye, and just like, summon another monster like Hayate and swing for 3k total. She also really neat interactions with Area 0 and multi-roll, being say they can target Raye, and then Raye you can chain Raye to link it all, special summon a link monster, and these still get their effects. Multi-roll being making everything spell speed forward, and with Area 0, excavating top 3 cards. Then you have Roze. This card's kind of bad actually. You only play it because it's an extra name. It has some very niche OTK uses if you if you need that extra 1500 damage. It's an okay card. It's not that very good. Honestly, this second effect comes out more in the TCG than the Master Duel, because like this used to be a Dragoon out, where essentially if you get rid of your opponent's rotate, summon Roze from the graveyard to negate the Dragoon. But you really don't have that now because Dragoon is garbage in TCG and it's banned in Master Duel. I will say this second effect is absolutely insane in the mirror match, just because like if you pop your opponent's like Shizuku, for example, with like a Afterburner, since you're turn player, your Roze goes chain link 1, and they can chain and they trigger their Raye as chain link 2. So when they summon their Raye, you summon your Roze, and since the negate effect is all one effect, you can immediately negate the Raye, which prevents them from attacking out during your turn. Basically, a fourth copy of Raye in the mirror. It's the most insane thing ever, but everywhere else is just like meh. For hand traps, we're playing 3 Ash, 3 Maxi, 2 Veiler, 2 Nib. You played more usually, but I'm just playing more going second cards like Droplets and Lightning Storm and Duster, stuff like that, more hand traps. These are fine though. You could play more hand traps than this and cut these cards instead. It doesn't really matter. I will say Maxi is the most broken piece of. It's stupid. Maxi is incredibly dumb. I opened this 5 on my 6 games and I won all of them, so this card single-handedly won me like all my games. Just let me draw into like every single going second card in existence and just like break their board and be so ahead of them in advantage that they had no chance of coming back. This card's really unfair. Ashe is an all-around really good card. Veiler, just negate. Nibiru is a really good blowout, especially paired with Maxi. If you draw into it, you're like late into their combo, you can drop Nibiru and they're just royally screwed over, especially if you have Veiler in tangent with that, so you can stop their like Apollosa, whatever they have to negate the Nibiru. Multi-roll is basically Spellbook Judgment that also acts as like spell speed forward making, so you can actually like send anything to make your Duster spell speed forward, or like just Duster spells before, so you can like basically wipe your opponent's entire back row without having to worry about Solemn Judgment or anything like that. And then you can just recur everything. This card's really stupid. It's so good. You play 3, you don't play any less than this. This card's oh my god. Then we have 2 copies of Engage. It's engaged, like, I don't know what else to say. It's insanely broken. Widowmaker, really good card also. Just a monster negate, and then you can also act like a snatch steal, which makes you, which lets you be able to push for OTKs or just as rolling material into like Sleep Nexus Code combo, for example. It's a really strong card, put it simply. You can also do this with the Shizuku Shuffle with multi-roll. So if you have multi-roll Shizuku set up, you can activate any of your quickly spells during your end phase, and then immediately trigger multi-roll to set them after you search up the Shizuku. You can't. It's really weird in Master Duel though, because in TCG you can pick the order you activate them in, so you can choose to activate Shizuku first and then multi-roll. But the thing is, in Master Duel, you're forced to activate multi-roll first if you had activated a Striker spell in your turn previously. So you have to plan around that if you're trying to do Shizuku Shuffle. I got screwed over by that, not in this tournament, but in a different tournament. Because I forgot about that interaction in Master Duel. So Afterburners, this card's really good. Just free removal, free pops. You could play one of this. I like playing two because Striker struggles with like big monsters. Essentially, just like they're kind of hard to beat over. Some Afterburners I'll just like clean up like yucky, like mucky board states. It's just an overall pretty decent card. I like playing two for that reason. But you can play one. It's fine. You don't have to play two of this. You have Hornet Drones. Just an extra name. That's really it. Jamming Waves, it's spell trap removal, which is only, but since you already have like a crap ton of it, being like Duster, Lightning Storm, and stuff like that, you don't really need to play more than one of this. The only reason you do play one is because it's searchable spell trap removal. This card's like fine, it's like okay, it's like whatever. I just like playing it because it's searchable. Ego Booster, this card's really good in this format, just because like you have Kagari at 1, basically says you resolve Kagari no matter what, which you kind of really need to have in this kind of format. Seeing how you only have one, because since only one Kagari is legal, it also makes it access unaffected if you aren't able to kill your opponent that turn, which is incredibly funny, and it also guarantees a Hulk access code combo in the first place. It's an overall really solid card. It just prevents your opponent from like interacting with you, which is really what you want in this deck. Shark Cannon, just like, it's a really good card. By no means is it bad. The only reason I play one of this because we have two call by. If you only had call by at 1, I'd probably play 2 of this. But since seeing how we already have like 2, basically a better version of this card essentially, at 2 already, it's like you don't really need to play another one. The only reason you do play one of this because it's searchable and it has that niche use where it can actually summon your opponent's monster for 2 years out of to your field. So if you summon your opponent's Ash or something, you can immediately go to access code talker and just screw them over really badly. Zero is a okay card. The only reason I don't play more of this is because it's kind of bricky. If you open multiple of this card, it's really garbage. Which is why I play 1, and it's searchable too, so you really don't need to play more than one of this. Its second effect, where summon a Striker monster, does help like unbreak certain hands if you open this plus go multi-roll. So yeah, there's that. This card's overall like okay. You do want to play one of this just because there are some instances where this second effect does like get you out of really garbage situations, and the first effect just like overall a really strong effect regardless, because you can send like your Nibiru you summoned or like any cards in your main monster build, just get rid of them. 3 Upstart, it's just draw a spell, lets you play a 37 card deck, and it's just like really good. Call by the Grave is insanely strong, lets you banish your opponent's Ash, Blossom, Maxi, Veil, or whatever to make sure Kagari resolves, and it's also really strong disruption at that side. Then we have some like really just good board breakers, Droplets, Lightning Storm, and then Duster. I don't know what to say unless like besides the fact these cards are insane. You can send extra hand traps from your hand to the graveyard to stop like an opponent's Drytron board. There's just these two cards just clean up back row. Then we have Rhoda, Search your Raye, and then Avarice. I personally hate Avarice. I actually really don't like this card. The only reason I do play this is because Kagari is at 1, so you want to shovel back Kagari so you can get extra use out of it. You could play Hercules base over this. The only reason I don't like Hercules base is because it requires more setup, because it has to target 3 striker cards specifically, and it doesn't give you that draw either. It has to be sent from field to graveyard too, so it's like you have to open this, like you have to open Hercules base and like an Area 0 or a multi-roll to actually even do anything with it, which is like really yucky. I don't like it too much. And then Avarice, but you can basically, if you have a bunch of hand traps in graveyard and like some number of links you always will have because you linking all of them off for Raye and stuff, you can just put them all back and draw 2 cards. You only want to activate this if you have Kagari in graveyard, because if you don't have Kagari in graveyard, activating this is like really like meh. Sure, you get the draw 2, but like it's like you don't get the second Kagari trigger, which is the main reason you're playing this card in the first place. Then for the extra deck, Kagari is insane. Add anything back from your graveyard. Hayate, and then in tangent with Kokari is Hayate, which is another really broken card. Lets you attack directly, and then it just dumps any striker card in general. I will say if you don't have Raye in graveyard, you do want to send Raye no matter what, because you do need that advantage loot. And not sending Raye there is like really garbage. Just because you won't be able to like bring back Raye during your opponent's turn and just like not have like and you can't combo next turn because you don't have a Raye in rotation. That's the only reason I would send Raye off of this. Shizuku is also really good. Searches a striker spell in the end phase. Basically, pretty much lets you grab any utility spell you need during that turn or the turn after that. We play 2 Zeke instead of 1, just because like this deck can afford to play 2 Zeke because you have Kagari at 1 in this deck. Essentially, you can just it's more or less to free up your main monsters though, and if you have like a Nibiru left over or some monster that you have like you took with like Shard Cannon or Widowmaker, you can immediately link it off for Zeke and just have that free main monster zone, main monster zone, which is the only reason to play it. Kind of stops with decays. Literally the only reason to play this card. This card's kind of garbage to be honest, but you play it just so you don't die. Remember generic link monster, we have Nightmare, Unicorn, Nightmare, Phoenix. These are your Imperial Order outs. If your opponent IOs you, then you're usually boned, so you have to link into one of these and bop it, which is like fine, because you have a lot of ways to like actually start comboing regardless. If you open like Hornetrons, you're even more fun because you can just link that one of these 2 guys into a Zeke and then combo anyways. Then we have the Celine Hulk access code combo. Hulk summon Veiler, link it to Celine bring back Veiler, make access code. That's really it. There's really nothing else to say. This deck's like really good. I think the only problem with this deck is that it's like really low power. So it's like really hard to OTK with this deck unless you open like a specific number of cards to actually make the access code line. And there are a lot of games where you don't want to drag out, but you end up dragging out, and then you lose in the grind game. It's really hard to lose in the grind game with this deck, though, because you have 3 Meltero, because you're always guaranteed to have something in to stop your opponent with. Which is why Maxi is really good, because if you're going second with this deck, obviously. If you're going second, you can just pitch Maxi and draw into your names that you didn't open in your opening hand. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Subscribe to my channel. It's gotta be in the description, probably. Hopefully, I put my channel in the description. I swear to God, if you don't.